there is a common trait among most of the overthinkers that such personalities are defined as those who literally love to live most in their brain, on their mind. So there are two kinds of personality. One that who always wants to be in their mind and who wants to enjoy and experience everything at the psychological level. I mean, we human have this capacity to even enjoy pleasure or to enjoy any event, even at the psychological level, before that event even takes place. And if you're modeling yourself upon somebody who is very famous and you are not having your own identity, I mean, having your own thinking is having your own identity, right? Then you haven't actually done anything in life, because whatever you're following, that is somebody else's, thing. And I think then what's the importance of having this education? What's the importance of having the experience? I think people must not be bothered about and concerned about the failure. They must be bothered about experience. And trust me, overthinkers have no experience but the mental trauma and engagement with the mental trauma, and it is not going to be helpful to anyone. In fact, it causes self-inflictions. If you are waiting for somebody to come and turn you on, what if they don't come? Will you stay demotivated? I think this is because having faith and having motivation, just like taking bath, you have to take it every day. Otherwise, what will happen. So it's important for us to start believing in ourselves. Robin, welcome. And we are human beings, and human beings are inborn, right? They have this thinking. I mean, they're always thinking. They're this is they are some this is something they're born with. And whenever they are faced with some difficulties, or they don't get success in the life, they start overthinking, right? They start thinking negatively, they start thinking positively if they put success. So this is something, I mean, thinking is something which can either put you in a trouble spot, or this can take you to the highest level, because it's all about thinking. So if you're overthinking, this can make the matters worse. And if you are thinking in the right way, then I think you can become a successful person. So now we're talking about 5 thinking mistakes which people are likely to make when they are not getting the right way to do the things, right? So before we go into the details, would you like to say something to the audience, so that they will also have the understanding about what's going to be talked about? Okay, I'll love to start with a quote which is often referred, especially to highlight difference between empiricism and rationalism. So we always have a tool, and these two tools help us in different ways. So if you really want to understand the universe, then you can switch to even empiricism, which means you collect data. And for this reason, you will have to work hard, and then you will understand and develop your understanding about the universe. And the second is rationality. So what is the interesting part of the rationality? And that has a specific quote which says that there is nothing existing in the world which has not first existed in the mind. So what it highlights is the thought process of people. Yes. Now, what do we mean by this thought process? Because every action we do or perform in our real life is a duplicate, or it's a imitation of thought process. Yes. There can never be an action without a thought process. So yes, we can have this argument that some people are, I mean, careless, so they perform a certain task without dealing with uh, at the intellectual level, means processing out throughout the thought process, so that they could do a proper analysis of the action before applying it in the real world. But what I'm trying to say in all here, that your thought process is really important. Yes. And it may make, or it may also break your your project that you are trying to accomplish, right? So we have to be very careful about our thought process, because in most of the cases we learn, and it is transpired that people, just with the help of thought process, they get so entangled, and this confusion reflects through their actions. So the best thing, which is often
promoted how we can simplify our thoughts first, and after we simplify our thoughts, how we can implement it in the real world so that we could maximize the results. So, maximizing results by working on our thought process, where we ensure that the thought process must not be complex but be more simplified, and eradicate and remove all sorts of intricacies, which means make our thought process or the mind free of confusions. And in this way, we learn that how actions become even more efficient and more result oriented. So the entire discussion or today's episode is, I think, is going to deal with the same problem, that
Yeah.
thought process of the people, and how this thought process hinders people in their way of achieving the milestones, right? Mostly people really don't understand this. They often float on the surface, but still not hitting the core issue. And throughout their life, they suffer a lot. So today we will try to, remove this suffering and give them a remedy of fight, right? Of kind. So let's begin.
So we are talking about five thinking mistakes that can ruin our life, right? And as I said in the beginning, that thinking is the inherent nature of human beings. We are born with this
Right.
ability because we can think, we can, and it is said that whatever we think becomes our action,
Right.
and whatever we do in the form of actions become our, nature and
Right.
behavior as well. And this is something which then we reflect through our actions and all. So thinking is really really important, and we have to be very much cautious of the kind of things which we are thinking. Right. So the first thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, are people failing in life because of the thinking or wrong actions, or yes, this is what you have to tell me. Are they failing just because of their wrong actions, or because of their thinking that is flawed?
I think it's difficult to say that one reason could be held absolute responsible for the failure of people. So I will go with that sometimes both reasons are equally important and equally important to be discussed here. But since we are creating this video for highlighting the problems occurring due to psychological issues in a way where thought process that too intricate thought process, how hinders the progress of people. So we will limit this discussion to this point. And in this regard, I will say that yes, it's our thought process that really plays a crucial role in modifying everything. So how we want to be or what we want to be is much decided and determined by the thought process we know what this thought process is all about. People outside never know what exactly runs in our brain, which means
Yes.
our ulterior objectives are only familiar to us, known
Yes.
to us, and the external or the person outside has no clues about it. So the best thing is said about it that if we can work on something, that it is or it must be on a thought process. So if you really want to achieve certain thing and you want to create a certain kind of pathway, then how much clear you are, especially while creating that pathway, will determine the rate of your success. But unfortunately, our thought process are not governed by our own conscious. This is
Yeah.
also the mood point which I'm raising here. Because in this world, we are surrounded by n number of or plenty of sources and plenty of resources or the mediums, which directly or indirectly, I think, affect our thought process. It sometimes inspires us to behave in a certain way. It persuades us. I mean, obviously, so that we try to become something like this. Sometimes it invigilates us to perform a certain task, which I think is bad, but just because of majority are the followers of it, they perform it, and therefore it inspires me to do the same thing. So by and large, what it means is this: everything is not governed by own personal wins. Most of the things are governed by the opinions of other people, and it reflects through our thought process. So for example, if I have a certain kind of influence on me about a certain kind of personality, I really consider that personality to be really famous because that person has done something remarkable, in my own definition, because I'm also trying to be like the same person. His opinions, his ideas will certainly mean meaning to me, which means whatever he says or she says, I think matters me a lot, because then I'll be following it. Here, your thought process must be very clear and at least be, if not completely, but partially disassociated from the influence of the others, irrespective of the position of that person. And if we can do this, I think that will be the beginning on the right course towards scaling your thought process, which belongs to you only, and it has got no connection to the influence of other. So therefore, thought process must be our own thought process. It has minimal impact of outside or external influence, and in this way, our thought process becomes very clear and fresh. Remember, a thought process doesn't need to be always in the line of the mainstream force, right? Because everyone is trying to imitate other. Yes. Whom we consider famous, I think, are the people whom footprints we are following.
Since simply put, on a way, humans are living on a monkey hill.
Yes, yes,
So
we are living on a
yeah, everybody is imitating each other.
Absolutely. I think your thought process alone can put you at bay from others in terms of your identity, in terms
Yeah.
of your actions.
Mm.
So yes, it greatly deals with your thought process. So your thought process must be clear, and I think it really makes a huge impact on how you perform and what you want to be. So first thing and the last thing which I would to say, which I would love to say is this: try to ensure that your thought process must be fresh enough. It may not be attractive enough. It may not be in the line of the mainstream ideas, but as long as it is fresh, it involves your personal interpretations about the
Yeah.
thoughts. I think you will sound confident. You remember, confidence plays a very key role.
Key
Many
role, yes,
speakers
that's
and many
correct.
people often talk about the role of confidence in giving certain elevations, especially in the career of people.
Yeah.
Not just because of their knowledge they gain this sudden elevation, but because of their way of doing things little differently.
Yes.
So they have a different interpretation of some new or old study or scriptures or whatsoever the subject is. This new interpretation really will have a huge impact in the mind of the people, and that's what the audience wants. What you have to serve to us, which I can say a different and a fresh and a learning at the same time. So your thought process, which is genuinely very original and fresh, can really play a very remarkable role, a noticeable role in this. Yes.
Yeah, as you said that when we have our fresh thinking, and this may not be in in line with other people's thinking. So initially it may sound a bit weird. It may sound a bit off track. But once you achieve something in your life, having that particular thinking which you have, I think people will start follow you.
Right.
This is this is what happens actually. And if you're modeling yourself upon somebody who is very famous, and you are not having your own identity, I mean, having your own thinking is having your own identity, right? Then you haven't actually done anything in life, because whatever you're following, that is somebody else's thing. And I think then what's the importance of having this education? What's the importance of having the experience which you right now you have? Just because somebody else is famous, somebody else is popular among people, we think that having the kind of thinking which they have is going to help us or benefit us immensely, right? So I think this may be a very, I won't say a very bad idea, but yes, it will not lead you anywhere. Right. The next thing which is that if we have poor thinking, then our decisions are also going to be very poor, and poor decisions will definitely lead us to some big failures, right? So it's important that we should be thinking very creatively, and this comes with the with the experience. At the same time, this comes when you start analyzing your own actions, your own things which you're doing, and your own, I mean, your own self. So we have to start doing this, and then we can come to this conclusion that yes, our thinking may be different, and let's try it out. What comes next, right? The next thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, why do people overthink but still take no action? This is what I've seen in my students and other people as well, they keep thinking, and this thinking turns into overthinking. And they keep thinking but taking, even they take no actions, and this is a big sign of failure, because we have to perform, right? If we don't perform, we don't take actions, so though that thinking or that overthinking is not going to give us any kind of success. So what do you think? Just this, that why do people overthink but they don't take any action? Why does this happen?
I think it varies personality to personality, but there is a common trait among most of the overthinkers that such personalities are defined as those who literally love to live most in their brain, on their mind. So there are two kinds of personality. One that who always wants to be in their mind and who wants to enjoy and experience everything at the psychological level. I mean, we human have this capacity to even enjoy pleasure or to enjoy any event, even at the psychological level, before that event even takes place. This is the power of human intellectual
Yeah.
or the psychology. But on the other hand, there is also a section of people who cares about the practical life. They understand how important is to, transmute or translate your ideas into real actions.
Yes.
And such people may have loss in their life, undoubtedly, because there is no surety that when you try to translate your ideas into action will bring you 100% results. No. But
That's
what
complete.
they gain in entire practice is that they gain experience.
Yeah.
And experience plays a very crucial role
Yeah.
in making or in breaking person's life or the
Yeah.
career, right? Now, people who live in their mind more are the kind of personalities who are much affected by the results that they have perceived psychologically. And when you start perceiving your result psychologically, it somewhere, frightens you. Sometimes when you are engaged in some sort of overthinking pertaining to the result of your particular action, then if you are emotionally a little bit triggered, then it's possible that you may not be able to translate that thought into that real life.
Real life, yeah.
So that's how this section of people are affected a lot. These people sometimes do know about their kind of weakness. For example, I had been a kind of personality at one point of time of life who always overthought. And in this engagement, what I found is this, that many times I had projects in my life and in my mind, and I had all preparation done in my mind, but at the same time failed to apply to the real world because I was fearful and concerned about the results. So I think the greatest, reason or the biggest reason that such personalities are a little bit more afraid comparatively to the second category of people about the results, and therefore they somewhere, they uh, retreat themselves from taking actions into the real life. For this, I believe that one has to be practical enough. Psychological action or activation is good only when there is a matter of survival. I always believe that people who deal with psychology more, then it's okay that they are highly intellectual. Even the scientists and the researchers do this at the psychological level very much more than a common ordinary person. But they do it with purpose. But what is more important in their lifestyle is that they are not afraid about the results. Yes. They are engaged at the psychological level. They are searching and researching everything, but they are not afraid of the results. So these scientists think a lot and then they try to translate their action into real life. They get multiple time failures, but again they stand up and do the same thing again. But what happens with common ordinary people that we are not scientists first of all. Secondly, we are highly afraid and frightened with the thought or the idea of the failure. And therefore 99% of our plans are just postponed, derailed, or sometimes terminated or suspended permanently just because of we have a prior idea of the failure of that action. So therefore, I think that it's okay to be an overthinker, but to be an overthinking in a wrongful way, I think completely bottlenecks our process, our progress and the growth. And this we must understand it because life is not to taste success all the time. It is more about tasting failure because experience are built on the pillars of failures, not on the pillars of success.
Yeah.
Because success is the final result. And what you when you get the final result, it can never be permanent.
Yes.
Even the success is never permanent.
Yeah.
Gautam Buddha always talks about
Yes.
success, that it is never permanent. So why to bother about the success? Yes, if one wants to be bothered about something, that it should be experience. So there is this big gap which appears to be little, insignificant, but this is a big gap which actually separates two category of people. So on the one hand, we have a majority of people who are overthinkers, who are staying home all the time and reading books. See, I don't say that reading books is bad, but reading books alone and thinking that you have done your part or contribution, I think, is the greatest fallacy.
Yeah.
We have to understand reading books are there and come with a responsibility, and that is to apply the reading into the real world.
Yes, that's
Not
correct.
everyone is reading.
Yeah.
Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar read a lot. Swami Vivekanand read a lot. Many great thinkers have read a lot, but they didn't confine their reading to themselves.
Yeah.
They actually experimented in the practical world, and they brought benefit to the large section of people. Overthinkers never do this. So if you have read one book, and this is your responsibility to even bring that learning into the public life. Your action is sufficient. We are creating video now. We are not getting views.
Yeah.
And we have been creating videos for last 2 years.
Yes.
Almost
Yeah,
this
almost,
next 2 months
yeah.
we'll complete 2 years,
Yes.
right? And we still are sticking to 167, 168 followers.
Yes.
Everything is okay. I cannot say, but still we are doing it. We are performing actions.
Yeah.
We are not being afraid of the failure here. This is what you can say, experience or stubbornness, whatever you can say, but we are enjoying it. That's it.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's very
I
correct.
think people must not be bothered about and concerned about the failure. They must be bothered about experience. And trust me, overthinkers have no experience but the mental trauma and engagement with the mental
That's
trauma.
very
And it is
correct.
not going to be helpful to
That's
anyone. In fact, it causes self-infliction, psychological self-infliction.
Yeah.
So there has to be this line being drawn.
Yeah,
And then I
that's very
think things
correct.
will be more clear.
Yeah, this is really very correct that people, because they always fear failing, and there is a kind of this is called FOMO,
Right.
fear of missing out.
Yeah, fear of missing
So
out.
so they are always in fear of missing out, and they think that if they perform any action, what if they fail? What if that thing goes wrong? So this will always happen. Actually, if we are doing something, it will have two results, right? So why to fear it? If you do something, you get the experience. Either you get the success or you get the experience. I never call failures failure, because if you take them positively, so they are kind of experiences, right? For example, if I know that why I failed, instead of analyzing our failures, we start either blaming ourselves or blaming other people. But if we analyze that failure, that what caused that failure, and where we went wrong, what we are lacking in, I think this analysis can give us a clear picture. And then the kind of learnings we get from this analysis, I think we can apply that to our next endeavor, and we can then if we don't succeed, then we can reach to that point, somewhere to that point, and in our next efforts, I think we are going to be successful. So I think as you said that people no, they just fear if they what if they go wrong, or what if they fail to do that. For example, if suppose I want to perform, this is an actually love stage. I love the mic, and suppose I haven't performed before in my life, but I'm performing, and I'm thinking, what if I start feeling that nervousness in front of the large audience. So this will always keep hindering my progress, right? So what if I feel nervous? This is natural. I think we are human beings, and a person who hasn't done something in his life, so it is likely to have this kind of nervousness in the beginning. You might have seen Sachin Tendulkar when he started playing, the ball hit him and he fell to the ground. But the same player then became the god of cricket.
Yes, right.
So this is what we call experience, and this is how we learn. I think failure is nothing but an experience, and we should always be considering it experience, but at the same time we should be trying to learn all those things which we couldn't learn, and that caused us failure, right? The next thing which we have to discuss is, how does all or nothing, because sometimes people want to have it all, or they think, okay, I don't want anything at all, because if there is nothing, then okay, but I want everything. And if I cannot have everything, then I want nothing. So this is, this is what people's approach is. So tell me, how does all or nothing can cause failure to people?
Uh, I think here people need to be a little bit spiritually awakened, because when this concept arises, all or nothing, I think in itself this concept is shallow and its existential reality is quite challengeable and debatable. So, how would a person define that something is all? It itself a questionable. So, for example, I want to be something and I have decided that I want all in that particular field. Then one may ask me what exactly all mean to you?
How much?
How much? What
Yeah.
exactly you want? What is
Mm.
the quantity that you are referring here? Then possibly I will not be able to explain this clearly and with clear words, right? So this is something which is, which cannot be explained at all,
Yeah.
right? So I think here people have to be a little bit spiritually, enlightened, and then they must ask themselves question such that there is nothing as such which you are craving for. And for this reason, you are doing injustice to you and to your life. Because when you say, I want all, I think to gain this very particular kind of, to experience this particular kind of situation, is itself impossible in one's life.
Yeah.
So you will be wasting your life completely. Now, what is possible in this scenario? I think which we must highlight, that a little or a bit that you get in the process of your becoming something is your true success, is your true achievement.
Yeah.
See, we people in the limelight of success being shown to us through media or through different PRs or different channels, I think we have lost the life which is lived in subtle form. And what do we mean by living life in subtle form is that enjoy those uh, small occasions where you, I mean, learn that you have achieved something.
Something.
You
Yeah.
have bettered yourself from the previous version.
Yeah.
And this is a literal achievement. Trust me, everything is all about how you should live your life, how you are confident. Confidence, it's not about that you are knowledgeable. Confidence, not about that you have every resources at your disposal. Confidence is not about that you have the authority to manipulate with the things at hands and you will decide whom should be beneficiaries or not. These are not confidence. Confidence is that you can understand your situation well, first of all, and you embrace that situation first of
Yeah,
all.
that's correct.
And secondly, after embracing that, you try to create a certain pathway or a course where you are regularly or by week or in a month trying to, just calculate your progress. And you are being happy at the same time when you learn that, yes, I have bettered a lot, especially when I compare myself to the previous version. In this way, you sometimes achieve the very prominence point of your life.
Yeah.
You achieve the very highest point of your life, and you really don't realize that you have achieved the very highest point of life.
Yes.
People come and tell you that you have achieved this level because no one has achieved it. So in this way, what few things happen to you in this entire process is that first of all, you live your life without pressure. Pressure somewhere compromises with your challenge. We all know. And competitive world has made people life more challengeable than productive.
And more miserable as well.
Yes, challenging is equivalent to miserable. And when your life is miserable, I mean, how one can expect, performance from you? Only one can expect a kind of, a result which is maybe accepted in the social system, but that doesn't run last, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we have to understand clearly, that your all has no value in this life, but if there is something has to be held little bit significant or little bit valuable, that is your small achievement, your little achievements that you enjoy, and you must enjoy these little achievements. I think we forget these little achievements because when we do this, there is a short chance of falling into this kind of trap of depression, that many people do this.
Yeah.
Because there is you can say a portrayal of a kind of competition where you are competing with other in your psychology, and even the person doesn't know you, but you have already decided a competitor. And in this way, you completely, destroy yourself internally. Your health is ruined and spoiled.
Yeah.
Your intellectual performance becomes almost dull, and you are of no use. So
Correct.
the best thing is that never take your life very seriously. Secondly, try to awaken yourself with the spiritual on this point of spiritual. And third important thing, learn your position where you are now, understand it, and compare it with the upcoming days. These are the real achievements. And trust me, you process this, you will have no process and you will have no pressure, and you will be achieving the highest level of life. The most important part of this is this: even if you achieve the highest point of your life, the acme of your career, you will have no as such kind of arrogance. You will not any reflection of as a personality who you are, and you will still compare yourself with other as an ordinary person. This is the beauty of this living life in the subtle form. So I think people must think about it. Yes.
That's very correct. Generally we forget those little moments in our life, and we just want to have that big moment instead of focusing on these small moments, because it is said that these little increments or this these the little things can result in some big
Right.
achievements if they are put together, right? For example, instead of giving ourselves a pat on the back for doing something remarkable, we are just thinking that I will be doing this when I achieve that massive goal of my life. And we should be dividing those massive goals into piecemeals. I mean, we should be dividing them, and then we
Right.
should be taking one step at a time. This is the only process, because if I think myself to be climbing the ladder in just one go, I think this is going to be impossible. Either
Right.
I'll come down or I'll hurt myself.
Right.
This is going to happen. So you said it right when you said that we should be celebrating those small successes and whatever it is, right? If you got straight A in your class, I think that is also achievement. When teachers praises you, that is also an achievement.
Right.
And one more thing I would love to say, I don't say that you should be resting on your laurels. You should be trying to keep improving yourself, because that's how life is lived, actually.
Right.
Because whatever you are right now and whatever you have the potential to be in the days to come, that should be justified, actually.
Right.
And this can be justified only with your efforts and the right thinking. But if you compare yourself with somebody else, you're doing yourself down.
Right.
And that is going to take all the things, all that happiness, all the success away from you, right? And one more thing I would love to say is that because I've come across people, I've seen this, happening in my life. Even you shared your experiences with me that people, you know, just wait for that perfect moment. I don't believe in this perfection, because what is perfect for us, if we compare that thing with somebody else's and a perfection, I think that will not match.
Right.
Because you will always find there is somebody who's ahead of you, no
Right.
matter how I know how much success you've gained in life. But you'll always find that, so there is somebody who's always ahead of you. So if we keep waiting for that perfect one, perfected one, we want ourselves to be perfected one. We wait now for that perfect moment. We'll lose out on so many things, and we'll then regret later. So this is really right. So people um, should not be thinking that we should be having it all. Rather, they should be enjoying everything that comes their way. And I think this is how they can uh, put themselves on the path of success.
Right.
Next thing which we have to discuss is how do external validation, because generally people are always seeking other people's validations. Whenever they do something, they always want it to be validated by others, right? So how do external validations and comparison distort people's thinking?
Okay, let me respond this by drawing a sharp comparison between Western countries and Eastern countries. And Eastern countries, specifically, I'm talking about India.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we see that in India we have creativity almost at the state of dying?
Mm-hmm.
We are not even manufacturers of good products which people, the world demand, right? We are neither doing any inventions in the field of science and the technology. On the top of it, what we learn that our dependencies on other countries are increasing by leaps and bounds. In this way, we can say we are at least not the creative nation. Somewhere we have a big, problem or the core problem which is still not discussed and which needs to be unfolded here. So the question you are asking, I believe that it has to be understood in the same line, and I have already drawn this very background. We are losing our originality in this way. So when you say that we are trying to get external validation, it means to me is that we are just being influenced by the others, and we are ready to have a complete loss of our personal identity or the originality as the nature sends to us on this planet, right? Yeah. Which means that you are not to be you as you as who you are in literal sense. And when you lose your identity, your originality, and this certain kind of fakeness develops, then you can never be created. Creative has a direct connection to originality. Creative, what, I mean, what are those things we call creative? Is that things which have never been seen before? Therefore, we call it creative. Creative, yes. Creative minds are those who create certain things which have never been experienced before, which are seen as fresh ideas, which are seen as fresh products, fresh practices, fresh kind of anything you can say. Unprecedented. Yes, unprecedented, unparalleled. So this is how do we define this creativity. So we don't have that creativity because we are in this very heavy influence of what other people may think about us. Since we are blindly following our inspirations, and in this very chase, I think we are trying to lose or we are losing our real originality. And this is the biggest loss that one could have at the personal level. We really don't know that what the real potential hidden in us. Yeah. And just for the sake of the large section of people who believe in a certain kind of idea to be only fact, and so we have believed it because we are believing to be going along the line, then we are doing complete injustice and we have denied personal the self existence. I mean, in this way, I say it's a disrespect to one's existence. It's disregarding to one's existence because we have rationality, we have brain, we have, a logical sense. Then at least we must ask this question to oneself. It's okay that 99 people following a certain thing. Why do I have to do the same thing? Can't I choose the other way round? Remember, even if it is the experience of salvation, or even if it is the experience of meeting with some godly figures, or even if it is experience of something supernatural, remember these are not done and only achieved through only one passage. This can be achieved through different passages. Yes. But it only needs and requires how creative you are to construct your path. If you just go off the track, may sound little abnormal or anomaly to a large section of people, but there is a possibility that path you have set up for you may have a direct connection to the final goal that you have set up for you. Yeah. So I think we Indians are completely trapped in this external validations, and in this we have lost our creativity. And I think this has not just caused you loss of personal identity or the creativity, but it has developed a significant amount of pressure on you. And this is unbearable, intolerable. And as I told you earlier, that when you are burdened with pressure, I think it's difficult for you to give your 100% results. So therefore, many people say, be yourself, who you are, irrespective of what people think about you. So if you are not having knowledge, or if you think you are not exactly according to the situation going on, it's okay. You are also the product of the God, like everyone else. Yes. So if you are here, you might have something different that people may not have. Try to realize it. And therefore, why do we say, and why those great sages of this country have always told us and given us this path through the wisdom, that try to go inside you rather than finding things outside.
Yes.
Because if you go outside, that will be more challenging. There'll be more, I mean, hindrances, obstructions that may or may not be easy for you to tackle this. But when you go inside, there is no as such challenge. All you need to do just to listen to your voice, listen to your personal, and realize yourself, and that will be the enough thing for you. So I think this is a great challenge, and I think once we understand it, we will see a remarkable, change or an increase in the level of creativity that people have. And I think this is the best way. So stop looking for external validation. This is completely a kind of infection. This infects your mind, that actually paralyzes your intellectual faculty. And I think you have to think a lot about it. Even if you have a lot of disposal, a lot of mediums around you, you should not be believing everything. You have eyes, you have ears, you have hands, you have everything, all important senses to perceive knowledge. Believe in that. And then you will find there is a great change in you, and this change is what is required at this point of time. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it right. But for example, if I'm studying the same thing as other people have studied, I'm living in the same environment, I'm surrounded by the same kind of people, if not at home, but at elsewhere as well. And if I compare myself with people from other countries, they are studying the same kind of subjects, right? They're studying physics, bio, and everything. So why are they able to invent, and why do we fail? So there is a question actually.
Right, right.
So we are studying the same thing. The only difference is that we don't actually push our limits. And that's
Right.
why because we don't believe in ourselves.
Right, right.
We always want somebody to be there to validate what I think. And if that person doesn't come there, or this person isn't there, I think we will stop believing in ourselves. That's
Right,
what
right.
happens. Actually, I read one quote somewhere that if you are waiting for somebody to come and turn you on, what if they don't come? Will you stay demotivated? I think this is because having faith and having motivation, just like taking bath, you have to take it every day. Otherwise, what will happen. So it's important for us to start believing in ourselves. Yes, what will happen? I'll go wrong once. I'll go wrong twice. I'll go wrong. But these failures, these wrong decisions will teach me a lot. And it is said that what life teaches you, what your experiences teach you, no teacher can teach you.
Right.
So this has also been said by somebody. I don't know who said it, but this is very correct. For example, whatever we read in books is not about life. You can actually experience life when you live it. Otherwise, just by reading it, I cannot experience that. It's impossible. If I want to experience the sun or sunlight, I'll have to go outside, and I'll have to expose my body to sunlight. Sitting in the air conditioned room, if I'm just imagining what it feels like being there, it'll just be a feeling, but no real experience.
So you mean to say just by learning a complete book of delicious food, you cannot be exactly tasting that food,
Yeah,
right?
you'll have
So
to
yes,
make it,
you have to cook it first of all,
and then you
then
can taste it.
yes.
Otherwise, this is going to be there in a mind, but that will not be the real
Right.
experience, real
Exactly.
taste, right? So this is something which is important for us. So instead of seeking validation, yes, you can consult people, you can ask them, but it should not be solely dependent on
Right,
them.
right.
Because then where is your experience, where is your knowledge, where
Right,
is your
right.
education, right? The next thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, how can someone train their thinking to become clear and practical? This is important, because no matter how hard you try to help others, ultimately they have to take the responsibility, and they have to train their mind, train their train themselves to think practically and to think positively. So how can this be done? How can a person do this? How can they train themselves to become?
Okay, let me first explain this in a mode of negation. So there are two ways to define a certain thing. Either you can switch to positive definition, or you can also switch to negative definition. So first I will discuss it on the point of negative, on the front of negative definitions, which means we first understand and know what are those things we should avoid. So these are the omissions part, right? To become a clear thinker, or to be a clearer thought processor, right? So first of all, which I would love to say people that uh, they must outright stop following others.
Mm-hmm.
It means that they must not imitate others just because of they like them.
Mm.
Imitation of the same thing and practicing in the same way affect you greatly.
Yes.
So you, for example, take an inspiration from a person or a certain kind of task he performs, and the way he does it, you like it. You may like it, and you may also learn something from that person.
Mm-hmm.
But the time you go and try to do the same thing the way he does, it takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy just because of we are trying to imitate that person, and it somewhere causes a self-infliction where our personal level of ability, every person has a different degree of ability and competency. We admit this, and with this, we at least try to ensure that at least we cannot do this. So in this way, you first of all consume a lot of energy. When you have a lot of energy inside you, there are a lot of possibilities at the same time. So in this way, you can earn a lot of possibilities. So this is the first point which I want to say, that at least person must not imitate other in the same way person does a certain kind of task. For example, at times when we were in our schools in the college, we get inspirations from different speakers, right?
Yeah.
And we have a kind of inspirations or a specific kind of understanding about how they speak. So there are certain ways which really affect us a lot positively.
Yeah.
So in this way, we did one thing, that we try to imitate the same thing. So for example, if I want to be a good performer in a certain task, but at the same time, I want that the performance must be done in a short span of time as that person does, to whom I take inspiration. I think this is a self-causing, pressure. We must avoid it. So if we can do this anyhow, we will learn that yes, we are supporting the inner self, the real you. And when you understand what you are, it is not in the sense of a spiritual level, but exactly your ability. See, every person has different kind of competency level, right? And trust me, the unfortunate thing with most of the people, and I think I really don't hold responsible for all this thing, because it also is highly affected by the environment where you live in. Yeah. So some people have a great understanding or their skill in a certain kind of performance or in a particular kind of work is massively different or advanced comparing to the large section of people. But when that ordinary person receives it, understand it, there occurs a kind of you know uh, mm, inferior complexity, right? And this inferior complexities somewhere makes this person feel incompetent at or at their own level. So I think we at least must be educated enough with our personal understanding about our environment, where we were born, and what are those things around us which help us support our growth, everything. And on the basis of it, we must conclude that yes, we have this competency level, and in this way, we have to process our growth. So if we can do this, I think there is a better scope for a quick, I won't use the word quick growth, quick progress, but for sure progress. And trust me, there is nothing called who comes first in this world. What matters a lot is that who comes or who exactly does justice to their life. This is what all
Yeah,
matters.
that's
Because
correct.
as the universe is expanding by day and night, there is no end of the expansion of this universe. So there is no time length at all. So everyone coming here on this planet, they are doing their performances, their engagements, and with their understanding intellectual level, they are supporting and contributing to the world. After they are dying, other people are coming and doing the same thing. You are not going to be remembered forever. Remember.
That's correct.
So something for which you are not going to be remembered, why to be very much concerned about it? So do one thing simply, don't follow others blindly. Yes, if you take or want some inspiration from them, you can have it, but do not do this kind of copycat, thing, because this is really harmful and this takes you nowhere. It takes you somewhere which completely separates you from your own real being. And this is even more called the biggest loss, in my opinion, in my views. Yes.
That's very correct. And I read one more quote, and that's been I think said by, I've forgotten the name of the person, no, that personality. He says that whosoever I come across is in somewhere superior to me. Right. So we can never be perfect, but we will always have a chance to learn from other people. And I think if we start practicing certain things in our life, that can give us clarity on our thinking as well. For example, when we start taking decisions on our own, and then we start succeeding in those decisions, I think this will also give us some confidence. And this is also going to make us believe that yes, we can think better and we can also make decisions. So doing things practically is going to make you believe in yourself. Otherwise, if we are always dependent on others and blaming others, see, mistakes are very common. I mean, people are more likely to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, so there is nothing new. We keep making mistakes, but it doesn't mean that we can never ever learn anything, and we can never ever do anything successfully. So if we start believing in ourselves, I think these things are gonna be quite okay in our life, and I think we'll stop making these thinking mistakes we generally do, because we somewhere lose that faith which we have in ourselves. So this is really important for us. So this is something which we wanted to talk about. I mean, we talked about five thinking mistakes which can ruin our life.
Right.
And believe me, this is not that we are talking about something we found in the books. We are talking about something which we have experienced ourselves, which we have seen in the world around, right? And this is something which we have done, and we have seen some results. I think people start practicing and adopting all these habits and all, they will also see some remarkable changes, some massive changes in their lives, and they will be able to do some justice to their lives and themselves as well. And this is life is not all about
Right.
having wealth, and massive wealth and massive successes. It's all about living a life very happily and peacefully, and you are having fun, and you're having some good conversation with people. This life is all about this. Yes, you can complicate it with by adding too many things, and this is then going to be miserable, right? So it's all about.
Before we just wrap up this event, I would sum up my part with this essence of this entire discussion. And that I love to say on behalf of Jiddu Krishnamurti, because I follow him on a certain level or to a certain level. And where he says that if a person anyhow becomes little uh, sensible or aware about the conflict he has at the psychological level, then his awareness is enough to show him the right path towards life.
Yeah.
So, what he means to say that if you can know, or if you even know or be aware about your conflicts at the psychological level, conflict refers to pressure. So, if you feel a little pressure on you while performing anything, Jiddu Krishnamurti says this is not your kind of work. It means that this is doesn't mean that you should not do that work. It means that you have adopted some wrong, medium to learn that particular task. So therefore, you must not be even trying that step. You must configure out something else which will be even more helpful for you. Yes.
And I would like to say one more thing that which I have learned from my guru. He says that, see, life is just like driving a car in the night, and you can see only 20 meters ahead of you when the lights are on and you're driving a car. But as you keep driving your car, you keep seeing that path. So we should not be this much anxious in our life. We should not be very much worried about our life. Things will keep unfolding, and I think everything is going to unfold before us. So I don't think that we should be carrying this much burden on our shoulders, right? I don't say that anxiety is nothing. I don't say that worry is nothing. They exist, and that's why people are worried and anxious. But at the same time, we should be, when we sit down and think about it very logically, we'll find that we are creating these problems on our own,
Right.
right? Life is not this much complicated. Life is simple, right? For example, if I say that uh, the night is dark and I cannot move around because I cannot see, but have a torch in your hand and just turn it on, you'll see up to a little distance, and if you keep walking, this will keep you'll keep seeing that particular distance.
Right.
So the same happens in our life. Your life will go on nicely if you stop worrying about all these things. I always say that we are not carrying the whole world on our shoulders.
Right.
That's not our job. First of all, we have to conduct ourselves well, and then we'll see that everything is going on fine. So
Right.
that's the only thing. And I think this thinking problem, which is going to ruin our life, is not going to be there. It's all about our mind, because mind is a very powerful tool.
Right.
You can either use it to your own advantage, or you can be led to your destruction.
Right.
By this mind. So with this, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.